it's Jordana Bryant. I'm so happy that you found my new podcast, New Friends. I wanted to create a space where we could talk about things that I feel like people our age don't really talk about. My hope is that by us kind of coming on here and talking about some of those things, that you would feel like you can have those conversations with the people in your life. I am going to be bringing on a bunch of guests. I'll also be doing some episodes that are just me answering questions. So please share your questions. Leave them in the comments. DM me on Instagram. I would love to answer as many as I can. And I really hope you'll stick with me through this journey. And thank you so much for checking this out. I can't wait to join you in the next episode. Hey, welcome back to another episode of New Friends. I'm Jordana Bryant, and today we have a very special guest, the super talented artist, writer, producer.
Oh.
I mean, all of the above, Joseph O'Brien.
What's up, guys?
Woo!
How you doing? A little audience clap.
Yes.
Yeah,
Wait,
we
need those, the applause
Oh, yeah,
signs.
the thing, like iCarly, like
Yes.
you used to have it. Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being on, Joseph. I
Oh, my
really
word.
appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I'm so just ready to vibe out. It'll be cool.
Oh, I know. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I feel like you are so funny. Like, you always make me laugh so much.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, it's just the homeschool in me.
Have you been told that?
I've been told that I'm like quirky for sure, but I think the laughing thing, like trying to make people laugh, is just like I just have always enjoyed that. Even when I was like young, I always want to make people laugh. So,
well,
but I'm glad it's working.
Wait, so I was thinking about how we first met, because we have a song coming out.
Yes.
Which when this episode comes out, the song will be like right about to come out.
Great, fingers crossed. That's all I was thinking already.
I don't know if I had ever told you this story, but
Okay.
I was like scrolling on Instagram like one day, and I had this song already written.
Yeah.
And then you like popped up, and I was like, wow, he's really good. And I'm like, he would sound really good on this song.
Wow. Was that it? Was
And
it just
then
like you were
I
just
was-
scrolling the Instagram and then I just popped up
And
like
you
on your
just
For You
popped up,
page?
yeah, on my For You
Wow.
page. And
So I was just
like,
served on a platter.
you were just
right there.
served on a
That's
platter. And I was like, whoa, he has a
Yeah.
good voice. He would be so good on this.
Thank you.
So I was like, I'm going to follow him and like
Yeah.
comment on this post. And then you had DM'd me afterwards.
Yeah. I don't even know. Like, I think it was the exact same thing for you. You just popped up on my For You page and I think it was fireworks. And I was like,
Oh.
this is so good. Like, I just love.
Thank
and
you.
I don't get fed a lot of musical pieces or like musical like,
Really?
content on like Instagram or TikTok, just because like a lot of times I think it's mad cringe. But like for some weird reason, like yours just popped up and I was like, this song is so good. I loved the hook.
Thank you.
And I loved your voice too. And so then I think I just followed you from there and just really loved like your style of music.
Aw.
And then whenever you like had sent me a message, I was like kind of fangirling because it's like, oh my gosh, this is crazy.
Well, you were the one who DM'd me first.
Was
and you
I?
were like, yeah, and you were like, whoa, I didn't realize you were following me. Like, I love your song
dang,
Fireworks.
yeah, maybe that
and then
was
you
it,
were
yeah.
like, we should write sometime if you're ever up for it.
That's what
And
it
I
was.
like,
Yeah.
oh, perfect.
Perfect.
And
Okay. And then afterward is
and
when
then
you
before
sent.
our session, I sent you the song. I was like, no
Okay.
pressure, but
Okay.
I think you would sound great on this song.
Well, I'm so glad you did because I love the song and I think it's like really like when I first heard it and people like send me songs. I'm like not trying to out anyone right now, but like people will send me songs on Instagram being like, what do you think about this? And like 98% of the time it's like trash. It's
for
just
sure.
so bad.
And it's always uncomfortable because you're like, I don't want to offend them. And
Of course.
And it's very sweet of them to reach out.
Oh, you don't just tell them straight up that it sucks?
like,
or like,
wow, that needs work.
like you're nice about it? Okay, sometimes I'll just be like, sorry, this isn't for me or something like that.
But yeah, it's like difficult. It's always I feel like makes you uncomfortable and you're like, oh God, like what's it going to be?
I know. Yeah. No, I'm definitely glad it was not that though. Because when I heard it, and I already knew you were super talented. So when you sent it to me, I was like, okay, like I know this would probably be pretty good, but I actually was not expecting, like I remember getting chills and just like I was in California at the time and I was walking on a highway bridge and I was like getting chills and I was like, this is one of the greatest pieces of music I've ever heard.
That is so
and,
sweet. Thank you.
I honestly was like nervous to hop on it because it was like, I don't want to ruin it. Like it's perfect.
No,
the way
I think
it
your
is.
voice brought it to life so much.
Oh, well,
I
thank you.
love how it came out, and I think that Nathan did such a good job with the track. Nathan Chapman produced it, and
Nathan threw down. He definitely did.
He's
for
awesome.
sure.
And I'm so excited that the song's coming out.
Me too. I'm very much excited. Yeah.
So I also feel like it's perfect timing because the song's coming out May 9th. And you're getting married
Yes.
in May.
I am. May 22nd. Yeah.
So do you want to talk about like how you met your fiance and
Yes.
like your whole relationship? Because I feel like y'all, I mean, not to be like punny, but
No, go for
your
it.
relationship was very out of the blue, right? Like it came out of
Very.
nowhere.
Yeah.
And our song's called Out of the Blue, if that wasn't
know.
obvious, if we didn't say that.
No, it was a good fun. I
But,
really enjoyed it. Yeah, no, it actually happened. So which I'll ask you about it later, but like we met on Hinge, which is kind of
Wait,
crazy.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so we met on Hinge.
That's wild.
Which is pretty insane.
So there's hope for us, right?
There is hope. There's
Some
hope for
people
anyone
find
who's
their
on
person
Hinge.
on
Yeah,
Hinge.
I had been on Hinge for multiple years, like 2 or 3 years. And it wasn't like I feel like there's a stigma that comes like with being an online dater, like that
Yeah.
you're like dating around or whatever. But I was always very, very intentional with like only going on a specific amount of dates, like very, very like small amount. Cause I didn't want to just be like out and about or seen as a guy who was like a player.
You were looking for someone
Intentional.
who could
Like,
really
yeah,
be your
I was more
person.
looking for like a long-term relationship. I was not looking for something that was going to be, which is funny, long-term saying that.
Long-term relationship.
Yeah.
Open to
'cause-
short-term? No.
Yeah. Cause we met and then everything just progressed so quickly and we're both 27 years old. So we kind of just knew what we were looking for. And I just felt very early on, we were like, this is it. Like, I don't want to like go out into the dating pool ever again. Like, you're the person I've been looking for. And marriage is like something that has been modeled so well by my parents that it's like, you're never going to find like the perfect person. You find someone that you are really compatible with and you have similar values with, and you have like similar aspirations and goals and again, core values. And we just lined up on all of the important things. And we just also happen to be like super attracted to each other. And so it just all made sense. And then we were like, okay, like we're going to be able to work through any problem because we have good communication skills and we both just really want to fight for the other person. Like again, not fight with, like fight for.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, once you find that, it's like you can just like rest in that. And like, again, marriage is never going to be a perfect experience. You just have to like serve the other person and like put, just put them first. And it just all started making sense with her. And so we just didn't want to wait. So,
That's so sweet.
And we know that's a little bit like, for some people are like, well, that's crazy because we got engaged within 3 months of meeting each other,
That's
which is wild.
That's
But anyway, yes,
wild.
we met on Hinge though.
Aw.
So yeah.
Did you like her profile first or did she like yours?
Oh my gosh, I forgot about our tea. We have so much tea.
Wait,
so
I'm
I
so
liked her
excited.
profile last year, a year and a half ago. And we matched and I got her number. So I got her number
You're
and we
joking.
started texting. And I guess I didn't get to like the punchline of asking her on a date quick enough because she ghosted me. She ghosted me. I know, it's crazy.
ghosted
Babe, you
you.
ghosted me. You know what you did. But she ghosted me and then we didn't talk for, a year and a half. And then her profile comes back up on my Hinge again. But I totally forgotten about our experience. And so I looked at her, I was like, I feel like I've matched with this girl before. So I was like, well, what the heck? So I just matched with her again. And then she messages me. She's like, hey, we've matched in the past, but we just never went on a date, but we should do that again. Or we should do that this time.
Yeah.
And so I thought I ghosted her because sometimes like I can just be known to be really bad with communication.
Totally.
So I was like, I'm so sorry I didn't lock in last time. That was like really like blah, 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 blah. But I had this sneaking suspicion because she started not texting me back again on Hinge. I was like, I feel like I got her number. So I look up on my phone, Taylor Hinge. She just pops up. And then I send her like a 3-minute voice message about how we needed to go on a date. Like I was like
A voice message.
Yeah, a
That's
voice message.
bold.
Yeah. Oh, very bold.
That's
Yeah.
bold. But
shot my
honestly
shot.
feel like that's really that's impressive. I would be like, wow, like someone has the confidence to do that.
That's what she thought. She thought it was so cute and adorable. And she was like, wow, I really appreciate that he like took time out of his day to like send something that forward. And I was at a Cheesecake Factory whenever she sent a text being like, you're so cute. And I was like,
Aw.
oh, okay. She kind of is into me in that way, even after such a dorky thing like that.
That's so
anyway, I can
sweet.
talk about our experience, but that was pretty wild that like she had ghosted me. And I think I asked her about it at some point and she honestly didn't give me a good excuse, but like we love each other so much now that like it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
So yeah.
This is going to make all the girls even more delusional. They're going to say, he ghosted me? No. He could
no.
still be my fiance.
Oh yeah. Yeah, literally. So
But for some people,
I know.
It works
Yeah.
out.
I'm just really
That's so
glad. Like
cute.
honestly, I feel like we should become ambassadors for Hinge and like get paid for
Right?
like, being
Yeah,
like I don't know, people who
True
worked
love
on
is
Hinge.
out there.
It is out there. It is, and it can come
And you
through
can
the form
find
of
it
deal
on
Hinge.
Hinge.
Yeah. Seriously. No, I'm a
Use
big
code
fan.
Joseph O'Brien for
Use my
20%
discount
off.
code for HingeX. Yeah. No.
Did you ever pay for it? No.
No. I think my like pride got in the way. I was like, I can't.
I also will not send anyone a rose
Yeah. Oh, really?
It's too much.
I've sent a rose here and there.
Really?
I've sent a couple roses.
I feel like it's too like forward.
It's like, forward, but
really
also it's pretty
cute.
desperate because like a lot of times you send a rose to someone that you know is like out of your league. You're like,
yeah, true.
I'll never get you, but here's a rose. This is the one rose I had for the week. You can have it. I never had anyone respond to my rose ever.
Really?
No. I don't know about
I don't
whether
think
you've
I've ever matched with.
Is that okay for me to ask you? You've been on Hinge before?
Yeah.
Okay. So how's your
Searching.
your experience been on Hinge?
You know,
I feel like it's overwhelmingly negative for girls.
I would say that like, okay, the first guy I went on a date with on Hinge was super sweet.
Yeah.
Like he was very direct about, you know, he was looking for a relationship, and I feel like most guys aren't like that, you know, direct. And I think that honestly for me it was a bit overwhelming. He was like, what are you looking for on here, and what made you match with me? And I was like, whoa, like I've also been on like maybe a handful of dates in my life. Like I've never really been in a, you know, committed relationship. So we didn't really click. Then the second guy was the guy that I was telling you about earlier.
Okay.
That,
oh, yes.
That we think, you know, gave you mono. So not a great experience.
But there's something else. There's something else though, right? Or were you going to say,
else?
we can edit this out, but what you were telling Riley earlier?
Which guy?
The one that I covered my ears for, because...
Oh.
Do you want to share that experience or not? You don't have to.
No, yeah.
Oh, no, I'd love to hear about it.
So yesterday I was scrolling on Hinge, which I haven't opened it in like 2 months. And the first person who pops up he liked my profile with the message, Jordana, I would buy you coffee even if I was penniless and broke. And I'm like,
no way. That's one of your song titles.
Which is one of my song titles. And I don't have anything, like, you don't have last names on Hinge.
Yeah, of course.
You like, I don't.
You felt like your privacy was like violated.
Yeah, and like it's kind of weird because I don't know how you feel about like if people have ever messaged you when you were on Hinge,
I've gotten a
knowing
couple.
your music.
Yeah, I have.
It's very sweet, but it's also for some reason I feel like I wouldn't want to start a relationship with someone who already knows me before I know them. You know, because I think that like I want someone to kind of just know me as Jordana and like.
Yeah.
You know,
rather than the super famous person, like super famous Jordana.
Jordana Bryant.
Jordana Bryant.
To just get to know each other at the same, you know, time.
Yeah.
Without one person kind of seeing this public persona.
Yeah. Also, you would never want to suspect that they'd be with you for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Like you want to make sure that they're dating you for like you and not like potentially like the platform you possess and stuff. So I definitely get that. Yeah. I definitely get at least a little bit of like a pushback. Just a bit.
But it is like, it's very sweet. But I was like, wow.
Kind of a good pickup line though. If you like, honestly,
for sure.
like I kind of respect his game.
I mean, I think that if I thought he was really cute, I would have been like,
yeah, it's like you got
cool.
Everything's got to match up. Like, especially with something like that, you'd have to be like, oh wow, this person's like really my speed.
Totally.
And,
totally. But honestly, I feel like most people I match with on Hinge, I'm just bad at like responding to, and I don't end up, you know,
it's hard. Like we're not designed to, I feel like, date via online. Like you're supposed to like find someone in person and like really like vibe out their energy and stuff like that. Because again, there's been times where, like on Hinge where like you match, you think the energy's really good, and then you'll meet them in person, and you're like, your texting persona was much stronger, you know, and like it just is what it is sometimes.
That's true. I also feel like there's definitely been a few people where I have a very specific process of making sure someone is who they say they are on Hinge.
So you don't get fished. Or is that fishing? Is that what it's called? Catfishing. Yeah, that's what it is.
So I'll start talking with them on Hinge, and then either they ask for Instagram or I'll ask for their Instagram. If they ask for my number, first I'm like, no. Like, oh no, you know what? Actually, first I'll do like the Snapchat. Because
Snapchat, okay.
Which is, I'm kind of...
Did you just say the Snapchat?
The Snapchat. I'll ask for the Snapchat.
Yeah, sorry, that's kind of like a boomer thing. You know, you say like the Snapchat.
The Instagram.
I was on the Instagram, the YouTube. Sorry. Anyway, continue. Carry on. Carry on. No offense.
I'll ask for their Snapchat because I want to make sure that they actually look like...
Oh, yeah. Exactly what their profile is.
Exactly.
Yeah. They didn't touch it up on Photoshop.
Even your Instagram, you could be giving me like someone else's Instagram or something.
Sure. Yeah.
So we'll like talk on Snapchat, and then I'll kind of look at their Instagram to make sure they're like a real person who seems normal and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, okay, now we can talk
There you go.
by texting.
Yeah, I really admire your vetting process.
Thank you.
It
I'm
seems
really
very
trying to stay
thorough.
safe out there.
You really are. This is the most I've talked about Hinge on a podcast ever, actually.
Right?
It's pretty wild. But it's probably only because like it's worked for me, so I feel super open about talking about
so
it.
now you're like, okay, this.
Yeah, but like I guess maybe if I was like still on it, I'd probably be like, yeah, I'm on there.
I'm just looking for someone.
Nothing,
many different ways.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but yeah, I feel like I do definitely get nervous because I also watch all of those like true crime things about
Totally
people getting catfished or getting like, serious stuff where I'm like, this one's not going to be my story.
No, we're not going to let
I'm going to
that
make it past the first today.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Can you talk about your proposal? Because
yeah,
you have maybe the sweetest and most thoughtful proposal that I've ever heard of.
I'm actually really proud of it. I am very, very proud of it, just because it took me so long to put together. But she, thankfully, one of the big prerequisites for dating someone, they have to like enjoy my music or at least like my voice. Maybe not my music. They just have to admire my voice to some degree.
Yeah.
Because if you like date someone who just like, oh yeah, I'm supportive of you, but I like hate your voice, like I'd be like, well, I guess I'm gonna like work at a financial like institution.
They also
now.
won't understand, I think, all the time you put into it.
Exactly. Yeah. So she loves my voice. So I was like, okay, great. So basically I sent her on a scavenger hunt because I'd always had a dream of doing a scavenger hunt proposal. But this one was very unique to me in that every single location that she went to, I give her an envelope that would be handed by either a friend or like at the Cheesecake Factory, it was a hostess, or at Mojo's Tacos, it was like a cashier. And inside the envelope was like directions to the next location, but there was a QR code, and the QR code would take her to a SoundCloud link where it was a song I wrote about like that particular location for her. So the first location was the factory. So I wrote a song just about meeting her and what that was like. The second one was all about Hinge, actually, which is like a place, I took her to Harlan's, or she went to Harlansdale, where it was a place we like to run. So the song is called The Race, but I rewrote the lyrics, and then it was all about meeting on Hinge. And then there was one about just our relationship being so quick and falling in love in like 2 months. So I called it 2 months. Also, every single title was her, like T. It started with T because like her name starts with Taylor. Starts with Taylor. T. Sorry, her name starts with T because her name is Taylor. So every single song started with T.
That's
and then
so
a place where we went because we laughed the most, it was at the movie theater, and we just like, I had this really funny memory of us like sitting in the car, and it was really cold, and she was like nestled up to my shoulder. This was like only date 2. We were just like laughing a lot. So I wrote a song about like laughing with her. And then the final one, oh my gosh. The final one, I sent her to Marcella Vivrette Park, but on the way, I recorded a voice memo for her the night that we met, that I knew she was my wife.
Stop.
And so I literally like sent her a voice message just being like, hey, this is me at 4 a.m. and like, I'm just thinking about you. I'm thinking about you in a wedding dress. I'm thinking about our kids. I'm thinking about all of it. And I'm just obsessed with you, all these different things. And that was like literally the night that we had met. So I spliced that on top of like this cinematic, super like ambient music as she was driving to meet me, where I had a table with Marry Me on top and like a little red carpet. Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. I did like it.
So thoughtful.
It was very like I'm just whenever I don't know, with her, like I just love being thoughtful, and she gives the best reactions to everything. And I just wanted to be really, really special. I mean, I've been dreaming of the day that I would be able to like do a really well thought out and like super involved proposal. So
that is so sweet.
Yeah, it was fun.
I feel like you also, I remember the first time that we wrote, you were talking about how important like being a father and being present is to you.
Yeah.
Especially, because you grew up in kind of like a musical family where your dad was traveling a lot, right?
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
What was that like, growing up with like your family being a little bit like sometimes like separated, but 2, growing up in a family that was already kind of in the music industry?
Yeah, it was my dad, thankfully he didn't travel too much once I got into an age where I noticed where he was gone. Because he was part of like a band, and like he was gone. Like when I was like 2 or 3 years old, he was probably gone 225 days out of the year, which is just a lot. And it was hard because my mom, like, she had to raise 4 kids pretty much by herself most of the year.
Wild.
Yeah. And she definitely started feeling those effects. And I think my older siblings definitely caught more of the pain of him being gone so much, and that affecting kind of my mom. But honestly, I think what's been great about having my dad like be a musician is as an artist, like he just kind of knows like the normal pitfalls like an artist would experience, or the ways that you'll be like tempted to be super prideful and like arrogant. And he just always wanted me to be grounded and to recognize that, yes, music is this place where you get to be super creative and make things that no other person has made before. But it's also a way that you like provide for your family. So it's like this healthy balance of like being really driven because you want to provide, but also like explore the creativity of it at the same time. And yeah, he didn't make it seem like this, because, you know, I think for a lot of people, they have their like the stars in their eyes when it comes to music, and that's definitely good. Like you want to have big dreams and stuff. But my dad modeled it well, that it's like, oh yeah, it's like super practical. Like you can be a musician and it doesn't like, you know, for sure. Also like being on Hinge for a while, like, you know, you would say, oh, I'm a musician. And some people would be like, oh, so you're unemployed and you're never going to make any money or whatever. But he actually like showed this, like, yeah, this is like a job like anything else. You just have to be really good about it, passionate about it, and know what you're doing, and kind of like take on a little bit of a business mindset, which I'm sure you get because you make like a lot of content, and like there's like a process to like how you can help a song perform the best that it can, right?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think that as a musician, you kind of have to go into it now understanding that it is a business. And for me, I always really enjoyed like learning about business, and like I was very interested in school about like finance and all of those things. And so I think that for me it's great because it pairs the creative side, which I love, with the business and the marketing and the running a company effectively.
Totally.
But I think that sometimes for people who are going into it with the mindset of I want to create art, sometimes it's a little bit you know, off-putting to them, or like surprising that not every day is you being creative. Yeah,
seriously. No, it's definitely so much more. And I feel like people, would definitely get a little discouraged if they just think it's only in the music. And once, you know, for some people, maybe they're able to be successful by like just the music making thing. But especially as an artist, like, you kind of have to, there's so many other things that come with being like an artist besides just music.
Totally.
So
do you feel like you were ever intimidated by the fact that your dad had like a successful career in what you wanted to go into, or was it, you know, because I feel like I would imagine having a parent who's like, you know, so like crushing it at, you know, the thing that you are like, wait, that's what I want to do too. One, it's something where you're like, wow, I really looked up to them. But two, it's like, whoa, like how do I do what they're doing? Yeah, no, I definitely, in one sense, I'm thankful because my dad did have a level of success where we were always super comfortable, and he provided enough where we had actually a really great house growing up, and we never felt like we were like mad poor. But he wasn't like successful in the sense of like Justin Bieber was my dad, or like Tim McGraw was my dad, or like whoever it was. Cause I feel like whenever you have someone that successful and they have kids, like your kids are going to kind of live in the shadow. Yeah. And for me, like I'm recognized by some people in my dad's particular industry that he was in, where they're like, oh yeah, like I knew your dad and stuff. Really? But he was very niche, like very, very niche. So I feel like I never was intimidated by his like presence as like an artist. I never felt like I'd have to like live up to his name. Also, we just sound so completely different. And I think that's really good too, whenever like I see people who are quote unquote Nepo babies in a sense, like if they are super different from their parents and they've kind of made their own lane, I'm always like, oh yeah, you go you, because I wouldn't even have thought that you were related to that person. I think those are always the best type of artists. Totally, and they've carved out their own space. Yeah, they've carved out their own space, and you don't feel like you're comparing them to their parents a lot. And I've seen that modeled pretty well by some people, I think, in my particular industry, where I'm like, oh cool, like I'm not threatened like by my dad's platform that he was given, and we're just in completely different lanes. So that's awesome. I feel like it's interesting because I think a lot of people now, like even in industries that are outside of music, you know, I think a lot of people do go into similar fields as their parents. Yeah. And it's interesting dynamics of like, my parents were never in music. My dad loved, you know, playing guitar, and he did that as a hobby. Yeah. But it's interesting. I think there's like there's, you know, so many pros to it, but I'm sure there's also a little bit of like, how do I, you know, like find my own identity doing the same thing that my family did. What do you feel like, because your fiance is not in music at all. No. What do you feel like, how do you feel like it's going to be with her adjusting to being married to a musician? I've thought about this question like a little bit. Really? I think it'll be somewhat of a shock to her for sure. Like probably just living with a musician. She's like, wow, doesn't make any money.
Yeah. No, I hope I can make money. But she actually's got a great job, so that's really helpful to have. But,
Hi, honey. So I was thinking I'm going to stay home with the kids.
I might be the stay-at-home dad. No, I think she will probably be a little bit surprised by like living with like a musician and the noise that comes with.
Yeah.
But I definitely am like grateful. She loves music. She's like a big just music fan, and she loves hearing music just all the time. And so her being okay with just music being a part of her daily life, like whether it's just like background music, I thought that was really encouraging, because if she was a little bit paranoid about noise level, I'd probably be like, oh, this is going to be like a tough curveball. But I also, she's gone most of the day for work, and I'm very considerate of other people when it comes to like making music in the living space that I'm in. So if I feel like it's kind of late at night, like it's even getting to like 8 or 9, like I'll throw on headphones. Like I don't want to bother anyone. But I think that she is a really trusting person, and really, I think she's never verbally told me this, but I feel like she just kind of says it through her actions. So maybe I need to get more of a verbal confirmation. But she definitely like believes in what I'm doing, and like she listens to my music and just loves like the fact that I'm a musician, and like I have a little bit of like that going for me. And she's never pressured me to like consider a plan B. She's like never been like, you should probably think about getting another job just in case it doesn't work out. So that to me was like all the encouragement that I needed, is that she's just like, she loves my voice, she loves my music, and she's very much ready for me to like be an artist, you know?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are so cute together. The photos
I love her. She
on
is
Instagram.
very cute.
I was like, oh.
Yeah.
I thought it would be fun to end the podcast on 5 questions that girls would love a guy's perspective on.
Oh, I love these. And I'm such a weird guy too, so I'm probably not going to give like the standard answer. I could probably give you the standard guy answer and then the Joseph answer.
Give the standard and then the Joseph.
Then the Joseph
and
one,
then the Joseph.
Because I'm kind of a basic white girl. Like, and like that's my spirit animal. Like, I don't know what it is, but I tend to be that way.
No, I feel like my friends and I always are like, I wonder does a guy do this too? And I really don't have that many like good guy friends to ask these questions. So
okay, please lay them on me.
Question 1.
Okay.
When you are responding to a girl that you're talking to, do you ever get your friends to help you come up with the response? Because like when I'm texting a guy, 80% of the texts are me and my friend
80%?
on FaceTime. Well, in the early, like in the first...
Yeah, when you're first meeting them, first starting to text
like,
and you're...
week. But also I would say that it's different depending on the guy. Because there's some guys that I'm talking to that it's really just banter.
Yeah.
Like it's not like, they're not like asking me like, oh, what's your favorite food? And I'm like, Lily, what should I respond?
Yeah.
But it's like
but the
them
more complex
saying something
guys,
like them saying something flirty and me being like, what do I say back that's like flirty, you know?
Okay. Yeah, I feel like it's probably more circumstantial for guys, but for me, like my answer is very like rarely, but it'll happen. Like I will probably consult my best friend and I'll be like, I don't know what to say to this particular text. What should I say? But I think ultimately most guys are pretty chill. Like they might take a second to craft their response, but I feel like it's considered like low-key weak to be like, yo, what's up, man? Like I can't figure out what to text my friend, you know, or this girl. And so you probably would just try to wing it and just hope for the best. Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed for sure. Great question though.
I'm gonna expose this guy that my friend is talking to, and she's gonna hate it.
Oh, really?
This guy, like, he said that, you know, he gets his sister to help him like come up with messages. And he sent her this one message one time that was like,
oh no.
I'm sorry, girl.
Say it.
Your eyes are like black holes.
Oh, I don't like that one. Your eyes are like black holes. I don't love that. Not his finest moment. Not his finest pickup line for sure.
I was like, I'm sure
Did
your
she cut it off after that?
No.
Oh, wow. She still went for him. Okay. Yeah, that's cool. See, that's what I'm saying. I guess when you like someone
still
enough.
work. But I was like, your sister.
It could still work.
Your sister definitely did not approve that message.
Yeah, no, that wasn't very good. I didn't like that. But yeah, he probably should have checked with one of his boys for sure. Or just like anyone for sure. Dang, that's bad. Okay, anyway, what are these other 4? What are these other 4 ones?
Number 2.
Okay.
Are you intentional about waiting to send a text so that you don't seem too eager? And do you pay attention to how quickly a girl responds to a text?
I think most guys do pay attention to that. Because I would pay attention to it. I think that most of the time I tried to not think about what I was doing. I would just did what was natural because I was like, if they're going to like me, they have to like me for me. So I'm not going to try to put up a front and do all these games. But I do know like guys would probably, like, it just depends on your level of confidence. Like if you're a guy who's not very confident, you're probably going to like match whatever energy they have. So if they take like 5 minutes to respond, you'll take 7-8 minutes to respond, or 5 minutes to respond. But if you're confident and you kind of know what you're looking for, like you might respond a little bit later, or you'll just respond like right away and you don't really care. So
I think that it's like if you're really looking to get to know someone, then you're just going to be like the way you are.
Yeah.
You're not going to.
And I was like, if I respond really quick and a girl is like, oh, I'm turned off by that. Like, I'm like, well, then I don't want to be with you. Like, if you're just going to be like, if you're going to be turned off by that small thing, me being super like eager to talk to you and want to get to know you, like, what the, what the frick? Anyway, continue.
Leave that up.
Yeah. Well, I never say cuss words. I just say frick, but I think I stopped with F. Sorry. So,
wow, he's really
this is a family-friendly podcast. I swear. I do not use language. Not anymore. Anyway, continue. He's reformed, yes. Anyway, question number three. Question number three. Did you pay attention to which girls are viewing your story? Oh, yeah, absolutely. For sure. Yeah. Like if I ever would post something, if there was a particular girl I was interested in, I would refresh like every 45 minutes and was like checking to see. But again, I feel like you're going to find guys who are different. Like it depends on your level of confidence. For me, like it was kind of a signal. I'd be like, oh, they're checking my story.
Yeah,
but like just because they see your story doesn't mean they're into you, you know?
Yeah, true. I definitely have accidentally, like I've been swiping on, like, just looking at stories and then someone's story pops up and I'm like, oh, I didn't want them to see that I viewed their story. Because I don't want them to think I'm into them. Yeah,
I think you like always check to see if they watched the next story. Because if they watched the first one, if it's like multiple stories and they've watched all of them, you're like, oh, I have a shot, But if they just watched the first one and then they never
swiped out, you're like, oh, that's even worse than them not even viewing either of them.
Exactly. Yeah. But no, I think we pay attention to that stuff too. So, but again, I'm kind of like a basic white girl, so I'm like, I'm in that camp with you.
No, I feel like most people pay attention, but I will say that like one of the things that's kind of, and this is going to sound like such a petty issue, but one of the things that I struggle with is like when like my stories, definitely get like in the, I would say like 5,000 to 10,000 viewer range. Yeah. So when I'm like trying to find the one person that I care about, I'm like scrolling,
scrolling through.
I'm like through 1,000 people. I'm like, this is just pathetic.
But if you follow them, it should like pop up near the top, right?
Yeah, if you're stalking them enough.
Oh, if you don't follow them, but if you're stalking them, yeah, that's true. If you're stalking them enough,
or if you're like looking at their page. Which question 4.
Oh, question 4.
Do guys ever look at or stalk a girl's ex's Instagram?
Ooh, exes.
Yeah, like do guys stalk a girl's ex's Instagram?
How would you even find the ex though? That's the question. Like,
how would you find?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If they're not on their profile, how are you supposed to find them?
Well, you could look in their tagged photos. You can
wow, this goes deep. Okay, this goes real deep.
You can look on their LinkedIn.
Yeah,
their mom's Facebook. There's so many ways.
That is definitely more. I think that's more in the girl department. I think a guy like most of the time just looks at their profile, and if there is a guy that happens to be on the profile like maybe from a year ago, then you'll click on it. But if he's not on there,
then it
tag photos. I personally have done that before, but most guys do not. Like I embody my inner woman whenever I'm like stalking, like, or whenever I did. Thankfully, don't have to stalk anymore. But when I did, I would go in the weeds. I go in the weeds a little bit, but no, most guys are not that way.
Interesting.
So,
yeah.
At least that's my assumption.
And then let me look at my 5th question.
Yeah, what's the 5th and final one? It's just building up the anticipation. I do a little drum roll.
Oh, okay. I remember.
Yeah.
Okay, 5th question.
Okay.
Do you think guys can be friends with girls platonically?
Aw, dang. I'm probably going to get some heat for this because there are platonic male-female relationships. There are. I know they exist. And if you're like watching or listening, like I'm not invalidating that like experience. I think they are incredibly rare. I think
Yeah.
they're incredibly rare.
I agree
And
with that.
I think that, again, you can be friends, but the problem is, this is what always happens. Like, you know, if you happen to be friends with them and like neither party's interested, most of the time one of them is low key interested. They're just like not gonna say anything to like throw off the vibes or whatever. But my take is like, why would you become friends with someone like in a really close way that eventually you're gonna have to like really reassess how that relationship looks? Because for me, I didn't want to become best friends with a girl because I knew unless that person was gonna become my wife, I like would become like someone's person. Like I would find a girlfriend, and all of a sudden, like my closeness with that person would inhibit my relationship with the person that I was with. Like it
Yeah.
would throw off the dynamics, and I knew I couldn't
that's
be
a
the
good
exact
point.
same friends. So I just spent my time being like intentional with like building up guy friendships because I knew none of that would ever change. Like it's like I would probably have to spend less time with them just to obviously like spend more time with my girlfriend. But like I knew that, I don't know, there's just been a lot of friends that I've had in the past. Like I never was best friends with a girl, but I was friends with girls. And every time I would start dating someone, it just became pretty clear. Like I didn't want to like make my person upset by me spending a lot of time with another female. And that's just like the way it goes. Like you're kind of like, in a sense, like whenever you're dating this person, like they're becoming your, I don't know, like it's just like the person. And
No,
I just think it gets
that's a fair
dicey. It gets
point.
dicey, and I don't like drama. So I kind of just chose to become friends with people that I knew I wouldn't have any like dramatic fallouts or anything like that.
I also
So-
think that there's a reason why most times when, you know, one person has a close like friendship
Yeah.
with someone, you know, of the opposite gender, that their, you know, partner
Yeah.
gets like intimidated by that or like
Yeah.
jealous or whatever. Even if you're not a jealous person, I think that's
Yeah.
because like everyone kind of at least subconsciously knows that
Yeah.
like male-female friendships
Mhm.
don't necessarily, very rarely
Yeah.
can be like purely platonic.
Yeah, and you're
I
trying
think-
to like build trust too. Like whenever
Yeah.
you're entering a relationship, and they don't like, yes, they do like you a lot, and that's why they're dating you, but like they don't know you fully. So if you're
Yeah.
like saying, hey, I'm spending a lot of time with my other female friend over here, they want to believe you that it's like out of pure motives, but like for them, they also like, I'm still kind of getting to know you. So I don't know if like you're kind of playing me right now and like you're like
Yeah, true.
bouncing back. So it's dicey. I think that's what I'm trying to say. It's
I
like,
feel like-
it's possible, but it's dicey.
Yeah,
You know?
I agree with that. I feel like the two instances where I've seen it work, like for me personally, the one instance where I've seen it work is when there's a big age difference. Like
sure.
I definitely have guy friends who are like in their 30s who are kind of like big brothers to me,
Yeah,
you know?
sure. Yeah.
Or like sometimes I've seen it work where like you guys have literally been friends since birth, so it's really like a brother because like they were practically,
Sure.
you know, raised with you. Like
Yeah,
your
if like you've
sibling
known them
was.
since like childhood, for
Yeah,
sure. I
but-
definitely get that.
I do feel like male-female friendships, most of the time one person likes the other person. And I've also seen I've seen a lot of people say that like girls become friends with guys who they wouldn't consider dating and guys only become friends with girls who they would want to date.
Yeah, that's like most of the time, which is why I'm like, guy, like if you're a guy, like just make your intentions known. If she's not interested,
Yeah.
then it's like, it's okay. But like, I would rather, I don't know, if I was a guy who was interested in a girl and just want to be friends with her, that would torture me for years.
I
Because I'd
know,
be like
right?
inwardly like, please, I just want to date you. But like, I don't want to wait like that long. Like,
Yeah,
and but
right?
also like at some
Fingers
point,
crossed.
the relationship will like kind of come to a close whenever she gets a boyfriend, and then like she's not gonna hang out with me anymore. I just was like, it's so much harder.
Yeah.
Like it just sounded like so
just
much
tell
work.
them how you feel.
Yeah, I was
no,
like, it was
I
too
like
much
it.
work.
I feel like you're a good example of just being direct, and clearly it's worked out.
Yeah, I guess so. I was a little late to the game. Let's be real. I literally thought I was going to get married. Because how old are you? 20, 19?
I'm 19.
Yeah, I thought I was going to be married and have 2 kids by the time I was 21. So
Really?
that was what I thought was going to happen. But
That was the timeline.
that was the timeline. Yeah. I thought I was going to meet someone at the end of freshman year of college, get married by the end of sophomore year, and have 2 kids by the time I graduated.
Is that like pretty common
No.
when you're from okay?
Not
I
common
was like,
in
is
my
that a
family.
cultural difference?
No, I just was like a little, like, you know, I used to like dress up in tuxedos as a kid all the time. So I was just
Aw.
very like little proper guy. So
Yeah.
I just had it planned out.
and
so.
you were like, that's okay. Well, you know what? That kind of concerns me because I think not for you,
Yeah.
for me, because my timeline was like, late 20s.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah.
So
no,
how
that's
many
totally
years?
good.
You said 21 and you're 27 now.
I'm 27,
6
yeah.
years later. So
Yeah.
by 35,
Yeah,
I'll probably
I'm sure
find
you're
someone.
good. No, it'll all happen when it's supposed to happen. And
Yes,
that's why
that's
I'm
true.
so glad that like
That's
I'm with my
true.
person because, you know, it wasn't supposed to happen a year and a half ago, but it happened now. And we're just really grateful.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think it's like crazy how that works where you're like, wow, this like, how lucky, well, not lucky, but like, you know, you're like, okay, clearly God had a plan with like putting this person into my life.
Yeah, literally. It's just crazy. Like the fact that I met her a year and a half ago, like she was my wife then, like in the sense of she was going to be my wife.
Yeah.
But I had no clue.
That's wild.
Crazy.
Well, thank you so much for being on today.
Oh, my
I'm
word,
so glad that we got to do this.
So
This
fun.
was so fun.
No, I'm so glad.
And
the Hinge conversation was like super dope.
Yeah,
Don't
right?
get to really talk about that a lot, but you know.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm sure girls find the 5 answers very valuable, very helpful.
Oh, I hope they do. I hope they gain something from it. You know, again, I'm not like any normal guy, but I think I know what a normal guy would do. But I'm probably more like a girl when it comes to a lot of those questions than I am a guy. But
and I'm so stoked for Out of the Blue to come out.
Yeah, me too.
And I hope y'all will take a listen.
Glad we stayed on theme too.
Oh,
here
I know, right?
With our
Out
blue.
of the blue. Where can people find your music? Because you also, I know this isn't like really, but you're working on music.
I am.
That's coming out. I don't know how much you've talked about it.
Well, we're trying to get an album out this year.
Okay, I didn't know if you were like saying that publicly.
Yes, I'm saying it publicly.
I didn't want to be like,
you heard it here first.
And I'm announcing Joseph O'Brien's album.
No, I am working on an album, just trying to get everything done.
That's so awesome. It's your second album?
No, first.
First album.
Yeah, my debut. My debut album, yeah.
Oh my gosh. How do you feel? Because that's like a big thing.
Good. No,
that's a big project.
Yeah, I'm having to produce it mostly myself, so it's definitely like a lot, but I'm very confident it'll all get done, and I'm just like pumped to share these songs that I feel like the best about these songs I've ever felt about.
That's amazing.
So,
That's so awesome. And where can people hear the music that you do about right now?
Joseph O'Brien on Spotify. It's just JOSEPHO''BRIEN.
That's really quick spelling.
Yeah,
that's really impressive.
I have it dialed. It's to a system. So.
Well, thank you so much for being on here, and thank y'all for watching this episode of New Friends. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and follow on Instagram to hear more episodes.